ربكم الله الذي خلق السماوات والأرض في 6 أيام ثم استوى على العرش.
So what have you found now you're in this role?
Mm.
What is the response to you then? Like, obviously, I want to talk to you. I want to find out what you're doing, how you're doing this thing. As you said before, day after day, you're doing podcasts. Like, what has the response been to your energy, your organization, and what you're doing, and what do you put it down to?
A lot of it, everything's from a last panel to Allah, but a lot of it is like having a clear vision of where we're trying to go here. You know what I mean? And what we're trying to achieve. And I
Mm,
feel like again, it's like when I reverted to Islam and something me and Abu Bakr says, a lot of the time we were told, don't go to these places, they're Ikhwani, they're this, they're that. And we were like, no
mm,
problem. But we found that a lot of these places that we were told not to go, they had infrastructure. So their elders had charities, TV stations, radio
mm,
stations, way back schools, shops. So a lot of people in our age group, our peers who embraced Islam and follow that sect of Islam or that group or that methodology, when they embraced Islam, they were met with, come and work at the TV channel, come and work at the radio station, come and they
mm,
were there was infrastructure for them to go into. And we
mm,
felt like, alhamdulillah, we thought, okay, we're on the manhaj here. Where's our infrastructure? Where are we going?
so,
And there was
so,
nothing
so,
before us. So I'm not really a complainer either, because I get that a lot of them, their Islam precedes our community in that they've been here from their grandfathers and they invested in the shops and then it was passed down. And so I get
mm,
wealth moved through their community. But I was saying,
mm,
I'll be damned if we create this for the next generation where our young people don't have uncles or elders they can say, yeah, no, that's Uncle Musa's shop or that's Uncle Musa's organization. We can get work there,
got
or
you.
that's what
So you
he's
sit
doing.
on that, yeah. That's a promise you made to yourself, yeah.
Yeah, I'll be damned. I told Abu Bakr is that we don't want no one to contact. We're not trying to have our young people have ambitions to have charities
Mm,
and organizations, but we don't have the infrastructure to help them do it. So I said, what happens
mm,
if a young person? I said, that's why I said that the importance of sport is bigger than you. It's for that next
mm,
generation who wants to do bigger than sport, wants to create bigger
mm.
than what you're doing, but they need to know
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
know-how.
May Allah preserve them. But you can't fail. You know that. Because people look up and say, mashallah, what the brother has done is fantastic. You get what I'm
Mm,
saying?
mm.
So, from my point of view, like, it can't fail. It's got to be he's doing well, mashallah. Because people are
I
looking up to him
tell
saying,
him,
mashallah, he's running a big
mashallah.
thing.
I tell
May
him,
Allah bless
and
him
I
and the
said that
organization.
I,
Yeah.
I tell him it's bigger than
Um,
you. It's bigger than you. I
yeah.
said this is our young people. This is our because I said, listen, do you know how many of our sisters and brothers from the revert, community have to sit in spaces where their men and their groups and peers I have to be spoken badly about. These lot don't
Mm,
do nothing. These lot don't do nothing. What do they do? Bad mouthing the men. What do they do? What have they
mm,
got? Nothing, nothing. But I said
mm,
that you come as a flag bearer. They say, yeah, but how about that sport organization? What are you saying about that? You know what I mean? I
mm,
said that it just gives you that strength in that time where you're under pressure. You got nothing to what you got to say
mm,
because
mm,
they're
mm,
calling
mm,
out. And it's not to have pride or anything, but if we're just talking about life, you're being
mm.
bombarded about how your community can't achieve nothing, can't do nothing, and
So,
you're backed into the corner. You got nothing to say. And then all of
mm,
a sudden, there's organizations now you can call at the forefront and say, this is our people, man, because we know there's good people in our community. We're not saying
mm.
it's only in sport or in resale. We're not saying that. But what we're saying is that representation is key. We
It's
know
key.
representation is
It's
key.
key. It's key. It's
Let's
key.
not belittle it. So that level of representation to say that if there's resale and there's sport, just know that there's many more you lot don't know about. But we're just going to give
Mm,
you two quick samples. You know what I mean? Two quick something to
mm,
show you
mm,
know that we have something. But when you're put in a spot and you don't have no representation, everything goes through, everything goes out your mind. And then you start
mm.
believing that, you know what, yeah, we can't amount to nothing. We ain't got nothing going. So for me, this is bigger than what we do in terms of or who we are. It's for that next generation who want to create organizations, who want to be better than we are and want to, you know, give back, that we as, and I'm saying it as a small community in terms of reverts, that we give them something to know that it's achievable, it can be done, and you just have to work and do what you do. And that's why I feel like once we got the Metro, once the Metro run our story of the work that I was doing, and then that came next with like the documentary on BBC and then on Sky. And then there was a guy, so Brixton is under this quote unquote gentrification. So what happened 2 years ago, Mike Ashley, the owner of Sports Direct, wanted to buy Brixton Village. So he put in a 40 million pound bid. But then there was a young Texas billionaire by the name of Taylor McWilliams, who also lodged a bid for Brixton Village. And because of the level of publicity that Mike Ashley has, you know, nobody really wanted him to take over Brixton, but no one knew who Taylor was. So anyway, Taylor won the bid. You know, he's around 39, 40 years old, bought Brixton Village for 40 million. And then he had a new idea for it because he was a DJ at profession and from Texas.
He's a DJ by profession.
Yeah, by profession, he was a DJ, but he's a group of 4 DJs who, you know, well versed in that scene. And so he used to come to Brixton for the last 10 years. He's been coming Brixton, and he was about the nightlife, whatever. So he bought the village, and he had an idea of creating new Brixton and old Brixton and merging it, but knowing that old Brixton was the key because that's what brought him there. You know what I mean? Not wanting to go there. But as publicity went, he started to get the bad name, gentrification. He's turning this, he's turning that. So he contacted me. So he called me one day and he said, "Listen, Musa, I've seen your stuff. My name's Taylor McWilliams. Right. I love the work that you do. Not just a humble guy, not too much talk. This is what I do." So I've Googled him. Okay, billionaire, young guy. Okay, he's out there doing his things. He's like, "I want to meet you." So we've had the conversation. He's like, obviously, I want to have like a social enterprise in the middle of the village, you know, as the main key, as to start how I mean to go. You know what I mean? So what I want to do, I want to put you in Brixton Village free for the first year. I want to do up your space.
That's nice.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I want to do up your space. And I just want to give you my contact. Anywhere I can help you. I've got one of the largest PR companies working for me. Anything I can do for you, just let me know. But
what do you think was unique about you that he said, "I need you to represent"? Because he's probably saying, "I need Musa to represent me in Brixton Village." So what do you think was unique about yourself?
I think the upcycling of shoes and giving them back in something which was so simple but so effective. And also the fact that I think I was very open and spoken about who I was, knowing that I was a revert, and the message is that Reso is a community interest project that is born out the strong community faith of Islam. That's at the forefront of my introduction to everything that I do. And it wasn't something that I hid, you know what I mean? And I just feel like I am the am. And I feel like our first conversations was to see my response to him and his wealth and what and who he was. And I feel like the fact that, like I said, some of my peers, I'm not saying they're billionaires like him, but they're millionaires. You know, it's not nothing new to the type of money that we were around, or the type of people that I know that's got money that I speak to on a regular. That I don't see people like that to be any different, you know what I mean? And I feel like my experiences with money and people who have money and people who are famous was different. Like example, one of the brothers, Abdul Malik from Barbados, his brother was the first footballer that I knew, Jason Ewell, played for Charlton. And growing up, when we used to go to Jason Ewell, sometimes I would see Jason, and he was around people like David Beckham and that, do you know what I mean? Like famous, iconic people that we met from a young age, like a lot of Arsenal players like Thierry Henry, Freddie Long. So like people who I thought were abstract and I couldn't get to, I met very early in my growth, you know what I mean? So I started to realize people are just people. So I feel like the conversations that I have with Taylor, it was always about growth, because he would come to me and be like, "Okay, cool, this is what I want to do in Brixton. This is what I want to bring here. Give me some ideas more. So what do you think? Like, this is the project. This is how much I'm going to spend. What do you think this is right?" So even the fact that he'll ask for help and guidance in projects within, you know, the village and what he's trying to do, it just lets you know that the type of maybe understand, or the type of relationship that he was trying to build with me. Do you know what I'm trying to say? in terms of
Yes, yeah,
allowing me that, yeah, like we're people here, innit? Like help me. I need help. I'm not from the ends. I
yes.
don't get the ends. You're from the ends. You understand
Okay.
it. You know what I'm trying to say? He's being real. He's not bringing no middleman, no this, no that. So yeah,
Mm,
so I feel like after that conversation and that's how we ended up being in Brixton Village. And then
mm,
from there, it's like, yeah, the doors in terms of mainstream media,
mm-hmm,
I was a rapper. So all the rappers today know who I am. All the
mm,
rappers know that I left rap for Islam. So when they
mm,
see me on TV now, or they see me doing what I'm doing, their messages in my Instagram is, I love the growth. I knew, obviously, when you left, man didn't know what was going on. We
mm-hmm.
fully get it. And this is why I tell a lot of the brothers who used to rap with us, who keep on going back and forth, back and forth. I say that even the non-Muslims will look at you like, what's wrong with you? Because they will say to me like, I love the fact you never came back, because a lot of
Okay.
people came back. And when you come back, it's like wherever you went, you failed, or it wasn't as successful as you. And I used to say, God forbid that they think my coming back has an impact on Islam and how Islam's looked at. Do you know what I mean? Because
Mm, mm, mm.
for me to go back is to say Islam failed. Do you know what I mean? Because that's why
Yes.
I didn't leave for anything other than Islam. You know what I'm trying to say? So for me to
Mm,
go back, it's like, right, Islam failed, and Islam's never failed. You know what I'm trying to say? It's always put me in a good position. So where I am today is the organization having backing from like footballers and mainstream
mm.
individuals.
A question, you know, that balance, having that link, that strong link with your non-Muslim community, non-Muslim
Mm,
friends. Some people are
massive,
stars, some people are millionaires. Like as you said, you can still go back there and keep your Islam. You don't
massive.
have to. You don't have to like. Okay, well, in order for me to mix with my own friends, I got to put down some lyrics. You can be who you are,
Mm,
and you're respected as who you are.
mm.
Um, shouldn't that give us some more confidence? Like
But you know what it
Your
is?
Islam is with your Islam. Don't water it down because they won't even respect you.
Yeah, 100% they won't. But the thing is, my non-Muslim friends
Mm,
and colleagues, if I can call them that, when we meet on my terms. And
mm,
unless I had terms, I wasn't going to the table. You can't go to the table with no terms. What are you going
mm,
to the table to? You're going to a table with millionaires who have a lot of terms and conditions. What's your terms and conditions? Why are
mm.
you at this table? So my terms and conditions was, or how we could sit was, we have shoes for your organization and what you're doing. We love what you're doing. So that's the conversation. Because
Mm,
had I gone there without a conversation to have, then it's like, example, my friend, like one of the guys I speak to, Gigs, he speaks like he's on a conversation to people like last conversation I had, it was like for just like in terms of reminisce, he was like, remember when we was growing up, we used to always talk about like Puff Daddy and all of these man. Like
mm.
me speaking to Puff Daddy on the phone now, it's mad. I can't. It's like I don't. It's like he just WhatsApps me, and as much as and it goes, as much as I'm a household name, it's still never going to be normal to me. Do you know what I mean?
Mm,
But if
mm,
I don't have nothing to talk about, when we get on that table, that's all we're going to talk about. You know what I'm trying to say? But
mm,
I won't
mm.
meet these. The only reason I'm meeting them is because we're making a chance. So they have shoes to give me. So they're like, I love what you do with the young people. I love what you do with the homeless. I've got a lot of shoes from Adidas that I got for free. I'm not doing nothing with them. I want them to all go to young people, send some abroad, come meet me. I've got these shoes for you. I'll come down and meet you. That's on my terms. We're meeting on my
Yes.
terms. You know what I mean? So the
Mm.
conversation is around charity. It's around giving back. And they're like, Raw, what made you do that? It's like, it's, you know what I mean? So we're talking about my world. Whereas
Yes.
if it's
Yes.
not,
Yes.
if it
Yes.
wouldn't have been my world, it would have been their world. And when you go into their world, you don't want to go into that
But
world.
but 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 what I'm looking at is see your world is
Mm.
obviously valuable to their world. Like
Yeah,
no matter who they are,
yeah, yeah,
superstar, football star,
yeah, yeah,
they've got a need to give. And
yeah,
obviously
yeah,
they want to give to someone who they know, yeah, he's a
yeah,
righteous
yeah,
guy.
yeah, yeah.
So there's value in that, even
There's
if they're
value.
non-Muslim, there's value.
There's value,
I
but
don't,
it's
I don't
just having a world. But there are a lot of us, from my era anyways, that we go on like in this Muslim world, we don't have a world. We don't have nothing to, it's like we ain't got nothing to offer. It's just like, yeah, I pray, I do my thing, cool, in it. That's it. There's nothing to
mm,
share, and there's nothing to like, you know what I mean? It's like there's nothing that's connecting that charity aspect, because a lot of these young people, example, a lot of the people in the music world, they've got, everyone has to give charity. They all have to give charity. And if they don't have a designated organization to give to, they're going to force one on them. The PR company, your manager,
Okay, got you.
Your manager's going to ring you and say, listen, man, for PR, whatever, you got to give something back this year. There's a gay rights movement. We want you to help. The man might be like, "Raw, that's not my thing. What am I doing?" But you don't have a charity. You're not doing anything. Where's your designated way of giving back? You can't be in a limelight here collecting money, tax, all of that thing, and you don't have. So for the people that we know, they came from our community. They're from us. Why ain't they helping build the roads and build the schools that we need building? Do you know what I'm trying to say? Why are we allowing them to go and help movements that they don't even care for? And these movements were never cared for them had they not been successful in music or whatever. You know what I'm trying to say? No one would have looked at them twice. But the fact they don't know no one in the community who really has an organization that does change, their money can't go back into the community because their job, their occupation is busy doing what they do. Their occupation is not building the community. But if there's a bona fide organization or a group of people who are building the community that we know and we trust and we grew with, then before I give my money to these people that I don't know, I want to trickle it back this way. Do you know what I mean? And build. And I feel like a lot, and that's what I'm saying. And I feel like what a lot of us don't understand, even I was chatting to a brother Craig in Birmingham, a lot of the elders, their sons are the leading rappers, man. A lot of those leading rappers in Birmingham who are getting real money, their dads are the ones in the masjids. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's caught up. Like I said, the children were 2 and 3, but now they're 17 and 18, and they're the rappers, and they're getting it in. And like, we're gonna have an influx of young millionaires from our community that we've never had before. Because right now, the amount of young black millionaires from South London, North, just from inner city, it's never been. It's never been like this before. It's never been present. The amount of young people every day buying mama a house, buying dad a house, you know, buying grandma a house. It's there, it's evident. And it's new. And that's with the growth of what's happening in that world. But the question is,
are they doing it on the? Are they doing it? Are they rapping as Muslims, or you won't see any Islam on them at all? Like,
no, the Islam is so the Islam's become like the Islam's become like America, where, and it's what's happened to the Christians, right? So their Islam is their belief. No one can take away their belief. There's 1 or 2 of one of the most well-known rappers in the UK who pray at the masjid. Yeah, they come, they pray. You know, they'll call me and say, yeah, I'm coming to the masjid this week. Are you there? Yeah, I'm at the masjid. Because I tell them, your prayer is not connected to your madness. I tell you, music is haram, but you ain't got a choice. You have to pray. You have to come to the masjid. And I know that if there's any way you're going to hear those home truths, it's at the khutbah. When sometimes the imam goes in about some of these things, you know what I'm trying to say? So some of the well-known people, and they'll come to the masjid and they will humble themselves. So we've got 2 options. You run them and they never hear that remembrance and that reminder, or you allow them to come and humble themselves. Because a lot of them will come and humble themselves and you won't even recognize the persona again. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So what's happened now is there's a generation of Muslims who, again, music is an occupation. And that's how they see it. It's become an occupation because they pay, like I told you, they're not learned in Islam, first and foremost. And they're buying mum and dad a house, man. People have to really understand the significance of that. Coming from a poor, seeing your parents struggle all their lives, not being learned about Islam, and then putting yourself in a position where, and this is one thing I told the people, when I embraced Islam to become legal in the land that I lived in, because my whole life was illegal. So just to become a legal person within the land that I lived in, meaning I paid taxes, I got a job. So things like acting and making music were things that were like massive occupations, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And these were things that were praiseworthy in every community. This was praiseworthy except for the community that I'd embraced. And I got that. And my first thing was to just pay some tax, pay some bills. It was a step, you know what I mean? So a lot of these men are thinking,
be a civilian,
be a civilian. So a lot of men are thinking, last week I was selling drugs, shooting and stabbing. This week I've got A&R, manager, accountant, you know, I've got all of these people working for me. I'm employing all of these people, and I'm still not good enough. They're not getting it because it's not adding up to them. And like again, I said they're not learned enough like that. They're just thinking, listen, yesterday I was getting chased by the police. I was wanted. I couldn't come back in the community. I've made 2 music songs, and now I've got all of these people underneath me who's employed. I've just bought mum and dad a house, and I still can't get a break.
Okay,
You know
how would you that break? You saying the break from the Muslim community in regards to how they should treat someone in this situation?
Yeah.
You saying Muslim community should give these guys a break?
No, that's what they're thinking. They're thinking yesterday when I was shotting and stabbing, nobody can talk to me. I've stopped that. Now I've got a job. You wanted me to get a job. I've got a job. My job, I'm a musician now. Yeah. I pay bills. I pay tax. Police see me and want autograph. Things have changed now. I'm not a bad person no more. Everyone knows that. I'm valuable to the brands. I'm valuable to whatever company. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Mum and dad were breaking their backs where I bought them a house now. No one has to work. So why are you still on me for? That's the question they're asking. So how do you deal with that? And I always tell people, the only thing that sets an individual like that free is patience and knowledge, man. The patience that I've learned from Islam, being patient, because knowledge is what sets up and allowing a person to practice, allowing a person to implement. Because implementation for me of this religion and this way of life is what set. No one could say anything to me until I started to practice. Because when you pray and you do certain acts, it just relieves certain things off your heart. You know what I'm saying? It allows certain light to enter you, and it takes that space and that person to give you growth because how many stories of patience do we have, man? Do we have to take heat from, where a man was just from the times and the people called him on Noah, he's calling the people for 500 years and he's called, how many stories do we need for us to say, okay, cool, my son was the baddest youth on the block, he was a drug dealer, he was all of these things. It's a stepping stone. You got to be at him. But if you ever get to the point where you're no longer, so for me in our community, especially in, I would say the Muslim rap and all of that, me and Abu Bakr are like an olive branch, where whenever these guys feel like enough is enough and they're tired, they just send the message, and they know that it's going to be received because we've never shut the door. You know what I mean? We've allowed it. Well, I feel like a lot of people just shut that door on people who Allah hasn't shut the door on. Are you going to shut a door on a man who Allah hasn't shut a door on?
No, you can't shut a door.
Yeah, how are you going to shut that door when Allah hasn't shut the door? So a lot of the time when things hit the fan, I've seen people that people look up to, musicians, they'll say, listen, I'm struggling. I need to start praying again. Can you send me prayer mat? Can you send me this? And we'll just send it. Yeah, bro. What time is duha? What time? Simple things that they can look, but they just want to compensate and hear. They want someone to tell them. Man can go on Google and find out what time Salah is. But that's not the thing. He wants companionship that's other than what he's used to. He just wants to hear.
Obviously, there's one bravado, what you see on the screen. But when a man gets home, he's a human being like anyone else. So he's gonna pick up the phone. Who can I speak to? Okay, they can speak to this person, that person. Yeah, that's a reality.
So so we try to keep that, and we hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guides them and accepts from them, and just because Jahannam is a difficult place, man. We ask Allah to protect all of us from that. And when you have people out here who say La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, and they say to you, like, I met one brother who's a rapper, and he said, listen, I rap, I do what I want. But he says, I rap and all of that stuff, and I know it's haram because nobody is not telling me that Allah is not my Lord. I don't care what. Listen, I don't care. Listen, I've had arguments in the studio that Allah is one, because I've heard man come on a rap and talk about some Buddha thing. I go, I know it's wrong because I'm rapping, but I don't care. Allah's one, and I'm like. What if Allah takes this from this man? That sincerity in that moment that he fights for his oneness. Who am I, bro? Do you know what I mean? So I keep that olive.
I always think about the hadith about the one who killed 99. He killed 99. He was a mass murderer. You get what I'm saying? And Allah forgave him because he was seeking Allah's Mercy, Allah
Yeah,
forgave
yeah,
it. So that always
yeah,
sticks in
yeah,
my mind. Okay, we're
yeah,
gonna have
yeah.
to couple of questions. One is, what are the future plans for Resold? Where do you want to go with it? As you said, the example of Spot as well. Where do you guys want to go, and how are you going to get there, basically? And then what I want to do, I want to see if anyone wants to ask Musa any questions we may have. How are you for time?
I'm not too bad. Is there people in here? Yeah.
Yeah, we've got some people say anyone who wants to ask Musa a question, raise your hand. So my first question is, where do you want to go with Reso? Where you at now? Where do you want to go? What's the
So
future plans with it?
Reso, I'm very aware that Reso is something which is mainstream, whereas Sport is a massive charity within the Muslim community, right? So I'm very aware. So example, earlier last week, I was on a Zoom with Puma, the head of Puma, in terms of
Okay.
what they can do for resale. I've got a couple more meetings with the head of Foot Locker, JD Sports. They want to know what they can do. So we're very much mainstream in terms of the organizations that want to reach out to work with resale and how they can make that happen. So there's another young brother in the community by the name of Abdulaziz who has his own sneaker cleaning company called Vamp, who I think will
Yes.
be ideal for you to go in there because he's 23 years old, and mashallah, he for that age and to be doing what he's doing, I'm keeping him very close to me because he's like a little brother. So every door that I open with these brands, I try to bring him through. So I put together a course that connects Resale and Vamp, which is called Revamp. And this is a sneaker cleaning
Mashallah.
course. This is a sneaker cleaning course that gives you an insight to the sneaker culture in terms of the impact that sneakers and fast fashion has on the planet, the benefits that sneakers can be if used right in the communities. And then they'll go over to Vamp and do another 2 weeks of practical where they'll learn the techniques of cleaning sneakers, preserving and restoring sneakers. Because right now, when I'm having the conversations with Puma and stuff, their thing is sustainability, and they're pushing for a sustainability model for 2025. They want to be at least 75% sustainable within the fabrics that they use. So within sustainability is getting more out of your shoe rather than dashing it first time, because an average pair of midsole to decompose takes up to around 70 to 100 years. So if you've
Yes.
got a pair of shoes there and we've got 10 in the house, we're looking at 1,000 years of shoes to decompose, and it's having a major impact on the planet. So we want young people to understand their choices of fashion when they're buying these trainers and understand materials. So with this course, it will allow a young person to be certificated by a body that says that they've completed a revamp course, and they're able to then start their own business, which is sneaker cleaning, which is straightforward, but they'll have a good insight on how to deal with different materials. Because one of the problems is it's like dry cleaners. You bring in your stuff, it's expensive, and then they spoil it. It's problems. So we're saying it's not just as easy as picking up a cleaning pack and start cleaning shoe. You need to understand materials, what goes on what and what doesn't. You know what I'm trying to say? So with that course, what we're telling people like Puma, Nike, and Adidas is to sponsor these courses. So young people in our community who have a love for sneakers, which most young people do, they can come, go through this course and have the ability to then start their own business. You know what I'm trying to say? So for us, it's to push out these courses to these corporate companies so they can sponsor them, to get our young people to have also, because within that course, they're learning business and finance and sustainability in terms within the business market. So even though it's through sneakers, they can walk away from that and say, you know what, I don't want to do the shooting, but I'm going to implement this into this, because it's a set of skills that they'll be learning that will allow them to go into business. We really want to push for entrepreneurship and business in our community. And the fact that we've got these big brands at the table, or they want us at the table, we want to use that. And then secondly, with that, we want to then somehow, example, whenever I go into these meetings, I talk about local community projects that we support. So I'm always telling them I support an organization called Spot. They're in the Gambia. They got orphans. We want to provide shoes to them. Then Puma will be like, how many orphans do they have? How many shoes do they need? So that's a me to get the corporates to then also trickle down whatever we're getting into the local communities and what we're doing you know what I'm saying,
Mm.
nationally and stuff like that. So the courses
Oh,
is the main thing for us now.
I see. Obviously, it's a charity, and normally for a charity, people are not so much concerned about the business.
Mhm.
Now, one of the things is obviously from Islamic point of view is earning your risk,
Yeah.
earning your income, being rich or being well-to-do. You can support your family. You can build other businesses, as you said, entrepreneurship.
Mhm.
It takes money. It takes finance. Um, how do you see the is there a conflict, or how do you see yourself in regards
No,
to
there is a
risk, making good money as a Muslim, being an entrepreneur, so that the more money you have, the more good you can do, and also it's impressive to the community that someone's made it out of,
mm,
whatever situation is. Now is a high flyer. Now he's got charities. How important is that for yourself personally in regards to making
yeah, no,
business,
it's
making good
important, man.
money?
It's very important. I feel like you have to secure the bag. I'm always telling my team, secure the bag. Don't listen to anything else, because without securing the bag, you find yourself in a. Because I said, if we don't secure the bag, how long until we need resale services? How long till we need shoes from resale?
Yes.
How long till we need to start eating from the food bank? Because there are things
Mm,
that we need to sustain within ourselves so we can continue doing the work that we're doing. But my mentor always
mm,
says to me, there's three ways to approach it. And this is, if any of the people on here can take that away from it, is the process of impact, influence, and income. He says
yes.
impact, and it follows in those three ways, because he says if you make an impact in your community big enough through the work that you do, you would then influence others to want to do what you're doing or want to support what you're doing. So when he brought
Yes.
this to me, I didn't even understand the strategy. He said, Musa, you've made an impact, because the impact you've made is that you've been able to go into your community and provide footwear for the most vulnerable people that need it. That's your impact. Your influence is that you've influenced others to open up their cupboards and say, hold on, come take my shoes as well. You can have mine. Like, you can
Mm,
also take this and take that. And then you've made others want to know about it, like TV channels, news stations. They've come to you, just like the billionaire guy came to you. You influenced them enough through your impact to come to you. And it goes, once you have impact and influence, the income always follows. It always follows
mm,
the two stages of impact and influence, because once you do something that is impactful enough that influences the people, they will pay you to continue to do that, because they cannot afford you not to be within that position in society. They can't afford you to leave. So what is it going to
mm,
cost for us to keep you to do the work that you're doing? Whether that's government, corporate businesses, they're going to pay you to continue to do the great work, because they realize that your impact and influence is needed, and they can't allow you to go. You know what I'm trying to say? So
mm,
for me, I'll always tell people, like you said before, if you want to start a project, don't think too much about the income, but make sure that you have a strong impact in what you do, and that the influence strong, and then the rest will follow. Because everyone that's approached me, I haven't approached no one. Do you know what I'm saying? I
everyone's
haven't
come to
called no
you.
one. Yeah, everyone's
Mm,
come to me. And that's because of the influence, you know what I'm saying, from the impact of actually doing the work that we're doing. So I haven't had to approach no one. And then after that, these guys are approaching us now in terms of how do we help you sustain yourself? What can we do? So we're saying, like, and the way I've branded Resoles are, how there's not many charities you'd wear on your person as a
that's
hoodie,
right.
farm hoodie.
Mm,
So Resoles a brand that people actually want to wear. So when they see our uniform, our jackets, most of the sneakerhead community is like, how much is that jacket? It's cool. I want that. How can? So already when I'm
yes.
talking to people like Puma, they're saying your brand has value. We can put our logo next to your brand. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm,
We
mm,
can sell a Puma hoodie with a Resole logo on it,
mm. But
because yours.
Musa, how much of these steps were steps that were managed, that we made the logo like this so it would be usable? So do you have a management team? You have a strategy? How are you going forward basically?
Yeah, a lot of that was just off experience of just having an insight to brand. If you guys know, I got my own brand, Mount Hood. So a lot
Okay,
of that was
yes,
from,
yes,
yeah,
yes,
a lot of
yes.
that was from branding and understanding that, again, my concept of charity was that I never wanted, like, example, when we have low income mothers contact me and say they need trainers for their kids, They said they never would have ever done that if it wasn't for how it's been branded. They said that you've brand. It's like I'm asking JD for a pair of trainers. I don't feel like I'm asking Oxfam or
I got
some
you.
type
Yeah,
of
yeah,
charity.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
good.
just feel like you've made it easier for me to ask the question. As difficult as it is, I've asked it. So during the Christmas period, there was a lot of parents who were struggling to provide shoes and gifts for their kids. And these shoes were an option for a lot of people because it was COVID, it was difficult, you know what I'm trying to say? So a lot of parents were just going through depression and sadness, not having any gifts for their kids. So the fact that we were able to turn up with trainers and Jordans that we can provide for their kids, it kind of helped them go over that. It was a conversation that they said they never would have done that. So I was very mindful. I wasn't going to try to create a logo that had like a homeless man sitting down asking for something or belittle anything. You know what I mean? I wanted something that represented the sneaker culture, because what I'm representing here, giving back shoes, is one of the biggest industries in the world. It's $1 billion industry. So I need to represent it. So in my head, I was thinking, how would the Foot Locker logo work? How would the JD size? I was thinking, if Nike was a charity, how would it look like? If Adidas was a charity, how would it look like? So that was my thinking in creating the logo. And then, yeah, we went from there to that.
Okay, excellent. Well, I'm going to ask this is my last question. And if anybody wants to ask Musa a question, just put your hand up. What advice, with the experience that you have, are you going to give to your children? What advice do you give in regards to education, in regards to development as a man or a young woman? What are some of the things you will pass on to them?
Yeah, anyone that knows me, I'm always with the kids, right? So I do a lot of activities with the kids, always out with the kids, and I involve them very much in the work that I do. So bringing them to work, bringing my son on an outreach, involving them in a lot of the media work that I do. So I feel like what I've done, I try to lead by example, right? And talk less. And I feel like, for example, my son has a very strong liking for photography, editing. You know, he can edit on his phone only what I wish I could do on a laptop, and I just don't know how he does it. So then what I do, I would bring him in on a lot, like on my podcast or on any editing things that we're doing with Naeem, who's the head of media. He would just shadow him, and he'll come and gain a lot of experience through that. And again, I feel like it's difficult because I'm in this situation, but I feel like the kids, like example, the kids see me on the news and then me walking through the door is not something I can pass on. It's hard to understand, you know what I mean? Like walking in through the door and the kids say, "Oh, Dad, I just saw you on news doing your trainer thing," and then me being in the car with the kids, and sometimes the kids will spot homeless people and they say, "Oh, Dad, that guy needs some shoes. Let's stop and give him shoes." So it's on their forefront. You know what I mean? Their thinking has changed to whenever they see homeless people, the first thing the kids do now is look at their feet and look at their footwear and see how they can help. So their concern is even when they're coming back from school, they might say, "Oh, Dad, I saw someone. I think he was on the corner. He might need shoes." So their whole thinking in terms of what is possible and what can and what is achievable has changed through the work that I kind of do. You know, I'm trying to say, and what I kind of bring to the house. And I feel like, so that could be anything though. I just feel like you just gotta, for me, allow the kids to partake. I feel like if you've got a baking company and you bake at home and you have to let the kids bake some of those cakes. You know what I'm saying? Because then when someone buys them and leaves like a comment like, "Oh, those cakes were beautiful, they were so nice," one of your kids might say, "Oh, I made that one." You know what I'm trying to say? And gain that happiness and that joy from it. So I feel like it's just part of allowing the kids not to be abstract from the work that you actually do, if you can do. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. But definitely your life experience and what you're going through regards to those opening opportunities, obviously you're passing that on to your kids to make them understand that there's no glass ceiling. Whatever you want to do, you gotta put your head down to it and get to work. Because some people might feel, okay, because of my situation, I'm born in this particular place, the only thing I can do is, I don't know, rap or play football, or you understand?
I think it's good because
How do you pass over that ambition to your kids and to the people around you, kind of thing?
I think it's just to support them from early. So, example, during the COVID period, I gave the kids a task to start a business with £100 each. Whatever they wanted to do, we need to flip this £100. Your ideas, your ambitions. What do you want to start? What do you want to sell? One of my daughters wants to be a hairdresser, so she's talking about she wants to create like colorful elastic bands and ribbons. So we're saying, cool, let's go online, let's check how much they cost. Let's see what's going to be the price that we get it at, what we can sell it at. What's your logo? What the colors do you like? Do you know what I mean? I'm just always trying to let them do things now. I don't want them to think it's when I'm older I'm going to do that, or when I'm just like, there are things that you can do now for you to achieve that that joy of actually doing something, achieving stuff. And I feel like there's so much that we can do, and I don't want to underestimate what these kids have in their brains and what they're able to achieve. And like I said, as for my son, because he's done a lot of child modeling for like Next and stuff like that, so when his sisters and the mums like on the website and they're going through products to buy stuff for the kids, it might be like school uniform and their brother pops up. You know what I mean? And they might laugh and make joke and stuff like that. But them seeing as his sisters might be like, look at your head. Why is your head so big? Why? You know what I mean? But it's real joy seeing their brother there. Do you know what I mean? And it's also seeing that the ceiling is not there. We can't, you know what I mean? And I feel like, I remember growing up and I thought that the people on the TV were actually in the box. Do you know what I mean? Because I never saw them. I grew up thinking, right, these men in the box. You know what I mean? Like, how did they get in there? Because I didn't know no one that was there like that.
On the other side. On the other side, yes.
Yeah, I didn't know that no on the other side.
Okay,
so
I got a question. How do you find the corporate world, the TV world is treating you? Coming from where you're coming from, how are they treating you?
It's difficult. Like when we done something on the shoes on BBC, they put us on Politics Time, which is a daytime show, and they were talking about, oh look, there's this guy, he's giving out shoes to young kids, most at risk youth of youth violence. So there was a panel that was for and against it. So one people's like, how I love what this guy is doing, but he's not going to stop kids going to running county lines and trying to make real money. It's not going to get anywhere. And then there was another group of individuals on the show that was like, you missed the point. He's able to engage these kids, what we can't do. So his tool of engagement is the shoes, because a lot of them are going to these county lines so they can buy this stuff. So he's not saying that he's going to stop every single one of them from going, but he's able to bring them to the table. Because one thing I tell people is that when you're young and you're making more money than your parents, how can someone stop you from doing that? How can you get me to the table? I make £1,000 a week. How are you going to get me to the table? Do you know what I'm trying to say? So it's difficult, and that's at the top end. But a young person who I asked mum and dad 4 or 5 times for these trainers, they said no. My man on the block told me to hold this thing once, and I bought the trainers. Where's the maths? Do you know what I mean? So for me, it's that engagement and saying, cool, don't hold that. Hold these trainers, what you want it to buy with that. Stay in school. Don't be silly. You're not about that life. But there's a bag of kids that they want more than the trainers. I can't stop them type of kids. You know what I'm saying? But I'm trying to stop the ones that we know that they actually got good parents and they're actually not bad kids. And some of them are our kids, but we just can't give them kicks, you know. We just can't give it to them. And some of them are not bad kids because we've raised them well, but they make silly decisions because they're friends who really are in bad situations. Like I said, they hold that thing because it means more to them than that. And they hold it just for the trainers. You know what I'm trying to say? So, yeah, it's difficult.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to wrap up now. Musa, give us some ending advice. One, what do you need from the community? How can we support you? And what do you think the community should engage in? How should we get busy? So how can we help you guys at Reso if you need our help? And 2, how should the community get, what opportunities have you seen where the community can take advantage of and get busy?
Yeah, I feel like this service. Yeah, I feel like this service is for the community. I don't want no one to be shy. I don't want no one from the community to ever be in a situation where they have children who are in need of our services and they're too shy. Because a lot of the time when people contact me that are shy, I'm like, I'm doing this for you. Like, these are the calls I want to get. I want the parents because I want your kids to stay humbled, stay grounded. So this is for you. I'm not going to Puma and talking all that talk to get all those trainers off them to just sit here and go to kids who are not, their situation isn't that deep. Do you know what I'm trying to say? I'm putting myself on the forefront. I always tell people, if it was just for me and if it wasn't for the mission and for the community, then I wouldn't be here, because just to look after myself, I don't need to do this. To look after myself, it don't cost a lot. It don't take much for me to have enough to go back to Uganda, Tanzania, and just live the simple life. It doesn't. But it's here to, like we said, the youth that are coming after us, the community that's coming after us, you got to put yourself in the forefront and you got to lead by example. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So this is bigger than me. So I'm not out here having all these conversations just for the community then to be shy not to come. So we're here for you. And then what I would say is to partake and be at the forefront of doing what you do. Don't ever think that a deed's too small, because there's a load of people that told me giving shoe don't make sense. It's not going to change their lives. You need to do more than that. Now them same people are saying, "Raw, that shooting serious, isn't it?" You know what I'm trying to say?
I've heard that same collab. I heard that myself. I heard that as well.
So people are like, "Raw, that's shooting," and that's because it's deeper than that. It's conversation, it's engagement, it's humanizing people. It's sitting down someone, it's meeting a homeless person who said that I haven't been gifted anything for over 10 years. This is the first time someone's gifted me something new, and having real conversations, and then being able to sit down and share a cup of tea and give him some of my life experiences and understand that I've met people that are homeless for a load of different reasons. You know what I'm trying to say? But from that, we've then created a network of organizations that are going to take you away from being homeless. So we've created organizations in housing, in employment, in training, in NHS, where they go out and they can run like COVID tests on homeless people and being just being a channel for them to be like, okay, Reso, like NHS, contact us. We know you're doing great work. Give us some of the data of where you're finding these homeless people so we can go out to them. If we're not here, that line doesn't happen. You know what I mean? So it's more than just the shoes. It's deeper than just the shoes, but the shoes are the point of engagement. It's where I can get Nike on the table, because Nike and Adidas and Puma, they're like, we will sponsor community projects away from the trainers. But can I get them to the table without the trainers? But can I get them to the table without the trainer? I can't get them to the table. And now when I'm telling them, okay, I've got you to the table, now there's a course that's about financial literacy and employment, and I want to put 30 young people on it, and it's going to cost £1,000 per young person, they're going to pull that money out. But these young people are from our community who are going to walk away with financial literacy certification and in a position to be entrepreneurs and to do even bigger things. You know what I'm trying to say? So that's where we're at.
Excellent. Okay, so someone just asked a question. What's the balance between spoiling the youth, i.e. with these maybe expensive trainers, and helping them? Maybe she means that, okay, you're going to give someone a £200, £300 pair of trainers. Is that spoiling them or is it helping them?
I think one of the things that I've come across is that we don't even give the kids an avenue to attain what they want. What is their avenue to attain what they've asked you for? Is there a roadmap that gets them to these shoes today? Not when they're, wait till you get a job and you start working for yourself. Is there a roadmap that if they worked for the next 2 months, that they could attain that money in the household somehow? Is there some type of work that they can do physically so they can learn from? So there is a roadmap to attaining that money. So when I'm sitting down the kids, I'm saying, look, I'll give you £100 each. If you do something right, that £100 is going to become 200. One of my daughters loves money. So she's like, is it? You know what I'm saying? She's just excited for money. So when she saves money well, like anything I give her, grandma gives her, family, anything, you go to her tin, there's money. She's just on saving money. But she knows that because of her way of saving and how she understands money, she's able to buy things for herself. So sometimes she's asked me like, for a tablet case, and I said no, and she's gone to her piggy bank and she's got the money in there. I'm like, where you get that? That's the money you gave me. Nan gave me this. I don't spend it. So, but my thing is that, do we even have avenues for the children to attain what they want? We say, cool, you wash dishes, in it and how much do you get for washing dishes every week? I'm giving you £10 or £5, whatever it is. Okay, cool. Do you want to do something else? Help me do this. Help me. So you know that, cool, I maybe can give my child this. It's going to take me about 2 months. In that 2 months, it's money they would have got anyway for free because I want to do something for them. Just create a way for them to be able to attain it. You know what I mean? And I just feel like if you do that and they feel like they've worked for it, when they get it, they're going to be more grateful for it, and it's not really spoiling them. But don't just be like, I don't have the money, I can't get it for you. Because you shut them off straight away. You just give them no hope. There's no hope. I feel like they just need hope. I feel more time the kids need some hope. Like, you know what? If you do this and that, then maybe, you know what I'm saying, this can happen. Just give them some hope. And then, yeah, I think that there's a way.
Excellent. I think that's the last question. Musa, it's been a pleasure.
Likewise.
I remember meeting you years ago in the masjid, and we had a little conversation about kids, and we're kicking kids out of the house because their trousers below the ankle, or they're coming out with funny haircuts. I still remember that conversation. But inshallah, we'll meet up. It's been a pleasure. Jazakallah khair for your time. Such Islam, if you need anything from us, just contact us. We're there supporting you every time, inshallah. And to the guests and people who came, jazakallah khair for participating. Any last words, Musa?
No, man, may Allah just keep us all firm. It's difficult times. And I pray that everyone and their families are in the best of health and iman. And obviously, we're in a difficult time right now. The kids are off. Everyone's going. And I would like to tell people, invest in your well-being and your mental health. You know what I mean? I feel like there's many things in our community that are not spoken about, mental health worries. And I feel like it's very difficult at times navigating through some of the worries that we have as human beings, whether it's your parents getting older, your children are not listening, you're finding it difficult, you're also an Islamic figure within the community, you've been upright for so many years, you've been child with children, parents, work, and your mental health takes a big hit. You know what I mean? So I tell the people, take care of your mental health, take time out for yourself. And don't forget yourself. I always tell people, man, how are you going to stop people from drowning if you can't swim? A lot of us haven't learned how to swim, but we're trying to save everyone else who's drowning. And you know how that one goes. You jump in there to save a drowning person, you can't swim, you're both going under. So I'm telling people, get swimming lessons, man, and take care of your mental health and just stay above water, man. And that's it.
Jazakallah khair for that final piece of advice. Inshallah, we'll speak soon. And that's where we'll come to end. So inshallah, look out for next week's topic, inshallah, on the same topic. And inshallah, speak to you soon. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Alaikum salam to that.
Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuhu.
Speak soon.